Welcome to Persona Every Day. I'm Maria Hawaito, and this is part one of the Persona Every Day hits 1,000 subscribers special, I guess. I don't know. Thank you guys a lot for that. I'm really shocked that I hit it as fast as I did. I thought I'd hit it probably closer to the end of P3, so that way I could build hype for the next series. What I've got here is, I don't remember who suggested doing a tier list. I will go back while I'm editing and figure out who suggested doing the tier list, because I actually kind of wanted to do it. I've got a couple here. I've got this one, which is, it's got 1 and 2, which I don't think I'm going to grade, but I will go through. I think this one's going to be the one I do because it's got the Q characters, and I like the Q characters. It's got Striker's character. I'm doing this one. Okay, we're doing this one. Every major Persona character tier list maker. It's got everything. Yeah, if I don't know a character, I'm going to put them in this NA tier. So we're just going to go down the line. We're going to start with P3. First up, we've got Mr. Protag himself, Mr. Makoto Yuki, or whatever that's the only name I know for him. In terms of protagonists, I do like him. I think he might be my least favorite of the Hashino era Persona. But he's a solid S tier. The protags always, they're me. If I rate me less than S tier, then what does that say about me? I think he is my least favorite of the 3 protags, though, just in terms of like raw personality that you can display. Because most of his like funny options are I don't care, I could give a shit type of stuff, and that's not really kind of how I like it. It's funny. I like the funny options a lot in these games, but I think there are other funnier options with like the next character specifically, but like P4 and P5. But the next character, Kotone Shiomi, I think is what the manga name is. Manga, whatever fuck. I like her more. I have not played through P3P, but I do know that she gets a little arc in PQ2, and that she can sell swimsuits pictures of Mitsuru in P3P to that one girl in the hallway that likes her. So already she's better than Mr. I don't give a fuck. Next up, Yukari. So my issue with Yukari, she is supposed to be this like popular girl, but you don't really see a lot of that from the small interactions I've had with her in her social link so far, because I'm only, I think, rank 5 as of recording of this. She seems very blasé and very, like, not into, like, hanging out with people. I do like her. I think she's got, like, a neat character arc there with her dad and everything. I think she's gonna go B tier. That's a solid B tier character. There are some negatives to her, like, for example, the fact that she's supposed to be this like popular character, and yet you don't see her like ever getting like swooned over, except for like Ryoji. But who doesn't Ryoji swoon over? Junpei. With recent events, before recent events, I would have put Junpei around here because I thought he was just kind of like a dumb, do nothing kind of guy. And then recent events happens, and that shot him up to A tier for sure. I love his story with Chidori. I also love that he's the last to awaken in P3, because he's the first party member that joins, because I guess technically Yukari is. I like Junpei a lot. Trismegistus is fucking dope looking, by the way. I think I go into Tartarus after this break. This is coming, I'm recording this the day after Thanksgiving, so happy Black Friday. But I think I go into Tartarus right after this, and he just starts whacking shit for 500-600 damage, and it's crazy. He's only like level 45 or something like that. Like, it's nuts. Remember, this is in the middle of me playing P3 Fest for the first time. So characters like Yukari, who I haven't finished Social Link for, might change in the future. So I might revisit this next year. For now, I think these two go right here. Next up, Aki. Aki has been carrying me. Aki has been carrying me through P3 Fest. Like, Aki is climbing Tartarus with me on his back the entire game, basically. Like, before he got his Persona Awakening, after he gets his Persona Awakening, he's just wrecking shit left, right, center, right? His relationship with Shinji is really really well written. There's some interesting moments. I love did you see that Shinji? Because you can take it in two different ways. It's like him throwing respect on Shinji, but at the same time, it's like, I want to be acknowledged. I love that. Aki has been a really good character. I think he's just below Protags. Next up, Mitsu. She gets this little, like, nihilism kind of moment. I think she might be better than Yukari. I haven't started her social link yet. From what I have seen around online, because remember, some things have been spoiled for me, like Miss Katone up there with the Mitsu swimsuit pictures. From what I have seen, she has trouble eating a burger, I guess, which is funny. But, like, for now, where she's at, she's kind of sitting around where Yukari is. Robo-chan. I refuse to call her by her name, or it, by its name, sorry. It is not a girl. Kind of hard to grade it because, you know, it's just a toaster. I think that's a perfect spot. I haven't seen enough of the robot yet to fully get a grasp on what's going on there. Ken. Oh my god. Ken was like an F tier character. And then then I went to Kyoto and he shot way up. Like he's literally just like having a younger brother. Like it's actually insane. He's definitely top of B tier. Like he's like right on the cusp. I love his character development that he gets with like encountering Shinji, realizing that there is more to live for. Revenge is not everything. Koro, best boy. I think Koro is top of S tier easily. Easily Koromaru is S tier. What, are you going to argue with that? He's Koromaru. Shinji, for the month that I got to hang out with him, he definitely left a big impression. He's a big softie. You only get him for a month, though, which is the problem, right? Like, he's a hard ass, but when in September you get sick and he's, like, worried about you and stuff like that, I really like that. That's really cool. Like, it's subtle character writing, and I like stuff like that. Metis. I know her name, but I do not know her, period. I think we all know where this goes. Hidetoshi. I don't really... The last interaction I had with him was really fucking rough. He seems too difficult to get along with. I think I'm going to put him right here for now. Like, I think Hidetoshi, he might come through later, but I don't like what I'm seeing from him right now. Bunkichi. I have spent 0 time with Bunkichi and What's-Her-Face. I'm going to put them in here as well because I have literally no experience with these two. Kazushi. Before telling me he was working for his nephew, cousin, whatever, I can't remember right now off the top of my head, he was like right here. After that, he's right here. Like, perfect. Like, if you want the definition of like an average character, I think Kazushi's like right on the money right now. Young Yukiko. I know who Yukiko is. I do not know who Young Yukiko is. Chihiro. I was fucking with her and I was vibing with her when it was about her being an androphobe and then turned into her being a thief. And I don't really fuck with bad girls like that. I really like the idea of the androphobe thing. I think that could have gone so many different directions that would have been like a cool way to write a character, but I'm gonna have to go with once it turned into money, man. Just let me buy the books for her, man. It's all you need is to buy the books. Miss Toriyumi. Maya. I like Maya's character development. I like Toriyumi for, like, because I obviously figured it out, right? Like, I'm not dumb. Like, it's very clear that this is Maya, right? Like, for what it is right now, I think Toriyumi, all she does is bitch and moan and whine. But she's a Persona 2 reference, so I think she sits at the bottom of B tier. Girl, I don't know who she is. Scott the Waz. He's kind of mid. I'm not gonna lie. His story seems to be about like wanting to do something your parents don't want you to do, which doesn't really resonate with me. My parents are very supportive, my dad is very supportive. Scott's over here is not, so I can't really relate to it. I can understand it for what it is, but I think he sits right there. I think it's perfect. Ryoji. So I don't have any of the P3P context here, right? So this is purely off of Persona 3 Fest, because I know Ryoji gets a social link in P3P. For the Ryoji we've got, he's like Yosuke, literally, like the same character. Yosuke got old real quick in P4. And I think Ryoji got old real quick. Where I'm at, he's had an interesting character development. But I'm not going to judge him based on that right now. I think I'm going to put Ryoji right here. Like, just at the bottom of C tier. If he wasn't this walking ball of hormones for the entire time you get to interact with him, he might be different. And if I play P3P, it might be different. Next up, Yuko, my beloved. You are going to the A tier. I think she might be by far the best girl so far in P3. Yeah, I think Yuko right now is like belle of the ball, stealing the show in P3. So some of these C's girls, they're gonna have to step it up. They're kind of mid, not gonna lie. Granted, I'm not done with the game, but still. Maiko, the Red Bull thief. She can go right here. I do not like her story. She's a very... I don't like Maiko.
I will take every opportunity I can to be mean to this child.
Pharos. Okay, so I'm under the assumption right now, this is without any confirmation, that Pharos and Ryoji are the same character, right? Pharos-wise, he just shows up, tells you 7 days, and then leaves the entire game. And then he says some weird cryptic shit about flowers and bees and orchids and stuff. Pharos is better than Hidetoshi for sure. I think he's definitely better than Ryoji. Bebe! I have not interacted with Bebe. I've heard very good things about Bebe, though. I've heard Bebe is one of the best characters, and I'm kind of mad that I picked Art Club Scott the Woz over Frenchman Bebe. Tanaka. Yep. Mutatsu-san. I like Mutatsu-san, actually. I think when it comes to, like, old characters that are trying to be a father figure, I think Mutatsu-san does it really well. I think he just needs a little bit more to push him over. Like, he finds his wife at the end, yada yada. Like, I think he needs just a tad bit more. So I think B tier is perfect for him. Haven't interacted with Mamoru. I have not heard anything about this character. So this guy, I don't really like him. I've interacted with him the same amount as Bunkichi and what's-her-face? Akinari. He's writing a book about a pink alligator, and he's dying. A lot of people say Akinari might be the best social link in the entire series. I am rank 8 with him right now, and I'm going to be honest, this might be a very hot take. I don't think he's the best in the series. I think he's very good. I think he is a very good social link. He really addresses the themes of the game very well. The themes of the game being, death is coming, we have to make the most of life, stuff like that. He's very good at tying into the themes of the game, but I think that he's just missing a little more, like, personal connection, if that makes sense, because he just kind of, like, latches onto you and is like, you're my muse now. I think he might be a little better than Shinjiro, but I think if there was just, like, making you this magnetic, like, everyone wants to be around you kind of character, that's fine. But Mr. Makoto over here doesn't look like that kind of character to me. He seems like this kind of indifferent, but, like, not asshole-ish, if that makes sense. Like, he's nice, but he's not, like, engaged, if that makes sense. And I think putting Akinari with him and just making it all about how he's the muse and he's the reason that he's able to write his story, I don't really like that. I think Akinari just needs a little bit more. Mr. Ikutsuki. Very good twist. I kind of saw it coming. I'm not gonna lie. In the first like month of the game, like the fact that he can't summon a persona, but he has the ability to stay alive in the dark hour and not turn into a coffin. Weird. I was like, huh, that's weird. Especially when he starts like talking in the beginning. I felt like this guy was gonna betray us. So, but that's just me being like knowing how Hashino writes Persona, or well, the Hashino era personas work, I guess. I do like him, but I like him less than Ryoji. His dad jokes and puns are really hit or miss. But the fact that Akihiko takes that and makes it arguably the best joke of the game, I have to give him props. Chidorita. I have issues with her. She feels I've said it, but she's Junpei's social link. So, like, there is no interaction between you and Chidorita, so you can't really get a read on her personality. The being afraid of death thing, like, who isn't? I think her design really kicks her up a couple notches, right? Like, Medea, especially. Like, having a combat persona that's also a navigator persona, sick idea. But she's not part of your team. I think right around here is perfect for Chidorita. Jin, Mr. Sidekick. He keeps stopping Takaya, which I don't like. I don't like the fact that every fight we get with Takaya, Jin goes, wait, no, don't do it. We have a mission. And, like, I know that it's coming to fruition soon, but, like, he keeps stopping Takaya. Like, let us fight Takaya. And speaking of Assassin Jesus, character design alone puts him in B tier. But the fact that he's like this, he literally is Assassin Jesus. Like, and he's literally Assassin Jesus. I think he might be my favorite villain so far in the series, including 4 and 5. Yes, Adachi stands, including Adachi. Takaya is my favorite villain so far. All right, we are on to Persona 4. We're gonna put the arena characters up here as well, because I've only played battle mode for arena, so I only know 2 of these. Oh, and the dancing characters are here too. Thank God I watched the dancing cutscenes, because you can't play that game on PlayStation unless you spend $200 on a bundle that I already own one of the games for. So thank God I watched the majority of the cutscenes. But we're on to P4. Yu Narukami, Mr. Chad Thundercock himself, is my favorite protagonist in the series. I think Joker is the flashiest and he's my favorite designed, but I think Yu is everything that you would want out of a protagonist in a protagonist. I think Yu Narukami is the pinnacle, the peak, the absolute top of Persona protagonist designs. Next up, Yosuke. I said it before, I say it again. I like Yosuke because of, like, Jiraiya is a cool persona. Other than that, I think he's just as bad as Ryoji, and I'm gonna put him right next to him because Yuri Lowenthal needs his own little square on this tier list. Chie. The little bit of Chie I got was cool. I did finish her social link. She is like, she has like the hots for this guy or something, and then the guy is like, no, you're a dude, and it's like, it fucks with her head. I do think Chie deserves some praise for being the odd physical attacker, but a girl, because we don't have any of those in P4 or P3 and P5. I think character-wise, I think Chie is just a tad annoying with the whole kung fu and meat thing. I think she goes right here. I think that's a nice slot in for Chie. Yukiko. She was actually the girl I, on my first playthrough of P4G, actually romanced. And historically, I only romance one girl per playthrough on my first playthrough for any Persona game, except for 3, because, you know, you can't really not do that. A lot of people complain about her character arc in that it's her rejecting her destiny only to accept it again in the end. But I think that's a lot of character arcs in P4 as a whole. It's being a teenager, essentially, right? Is this the P4 has this idea of like, you're a teenager, you're being told what you need to do, you don't like being told what to do, you grow and evolve and mature, and you realize what you were being told to do is what you should do, right? Like, there is no reason to rebel against something like that. And that's kind of every character's character arc in their social links in P4. I think Yukiko is like the most blatant, like obvious, besides Kanji. I like Yukiko a lot. I don't think she cracks A tier though. I think she's just above Ken, because she's got that like laughing thing, and it's funny the first couple of times, but it gets really old. And that seems to be like a trend with a lot of these Persona characters, is that they have their gimmick or their one-time thing, and it's funny at first, and then it's just like, okay, can we move on to the actual dialogue, like, please? Speaking of characters with a gimmick, Kanji, I'm homophobic. So Kanji is probably the biggest source of laughs for your playthrough of P4, mine specifically. I liked Kanji a lot, but he felt way too much like comic relief. His character arc is kind of overshadowed by the fact that Naoto exists, and Naoto's character arc kind of feels like a retreading of what Kanji's going through, except in the reverse and more well fleshed out, I guess. Because like Kanji's like a dude that likes doing girly things. He likes to cook and sew and stuff like that. But that nowadays, back then in like 2008, back then that was kind of weird, but now no one cares. Like, hobbies are hobbies. I think in terms of a party member, I didn't use him a lot, so that knocks him down. I think that's a good spot for him. Risei Kujikawa, reset. This is gonna be a hot take. I like Risei, mostly because when I played P4 Arena, she was my main, because I like playing Dance Dance Revolution for my ultimates and my supers. But I like Risei. I don't like the whole senpai, blah, 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 blah. I don't like that shit. It's very annoying very quickly. But I like Risei. I don't know why. I like Risei, especially when she's in her mochi shop outfit, or whatever the store was that she ran, the sweet shop. I really like that outfit for her. I'm sad that I don't know if you can get it as an outfit for gameplay. Well, you wouldn't even see it anyway, because she's the navigator. As a navigator, I think Futaba's a bit better. Wait, where's Fuka? Why is Fuka down here? We're gonna take Fuka. We're gonna go back to P3. Wow, why did I fucking miss Fuka? That's some bullshit. Fuker Friday, Fuker Yamagishi, Fuka Friday. Second best navigator. No. Third best navigator. On to Teddy. Naoto. Naoto, I like Naoto for... I'm a big fan of, like, Lupin and Sherlock Holmes and, like, detective stuff. And Naoto's really cool with that. Like, when Naoto comes onto the team, it's kind of like the signifier that you're actually solving a murder mystery. Because, like, the entire game, you're kind of solving the murder mystery, and you feel like Scooby-Doo in the gang. And then Naoto comes onto the team, and it's like, oh, Batman's here. Like, we're about to solve this crime. I don't like Naoto's dungeon. I didn't really talk about the dungeons for the other characters, huh? I do like Naoto's character arc, because I did say earlier, it's similar to Kanji's, right? It retreads the same kind of ground, but from a more well fleshed out perspective. Because Naoto is a girl. Naoto wants to be respected in her line of work, so she pretends to be a man. I know media literacy is hard for Persona fans. We just like to see our funny characters go, for real? And that's about it. Naoto is a woman that wants to be respected in her chosen field of work, so she dresses as a man. Problem with that's kind of a Japan only kind of thing, right? Like, now, like, back then, maybe, I don't know, I was 10 when this game came out, right? Back then, maybe it was a problem with women in male-dominated fields. Now, there's a huge push for women in male-dominated fields to be respected, which I agree with. I mean, if you're good at your job, you're good at your job. Naoto's very good at her job. But again, it feels like the same kind of ground is covered between Naoto and Kanji. Every day's great at your Junes. You cannot... Koro and Nanako, do not hurt these babies. I genuinely... There are very few games that make me feel raw emotion when I'm playing them for the first time. I genuinely got angry when Naoto got kidnapped in P4. I genuinely got mad. That's how good P4 is at getting you to care about this character. I was so mad at Dojima for neglecting his kid. Speaking of Dojima, he redeems himself at the end. I think Dojima might be... I like Sojiro a lot. Dojima is kind of in the same line as like Matatsu-san, where he's like kind of like a father figure, but he doesn't know what to do. They're kind of like a similar, because like Dojima gets drunk. I like Dojima. I like Mr. Great Vegetable. Okay, do I like Dojima more than I like the robot? Yes. Do I like Dojima more than Kanji? Yes. Do I like Kojima? No, I do not like Dojima more than Naoto. That's how I'm going to do that one. This character, this is Saki Kunishi's brother. I did not interact with him. I know who he is, though. Ko. He was the one I picked of the two. I like them balls. He's another one of those, like, he's being told what to do. He doesn't want to do it. He realizes what he's got to do kind of characters that P4 has. I think in terms of a social link, I think Ko's really cool. I do like that it's kind of a duo social link with, like, focuses. I like that a lot. Kind of like how I like the whole introduce to another social link mechanic that P3 has going for it. For the same issue I have with P3's mechanic of, here's my friend, you become friends with them now. I kind of feel like they dropped the ball, no pun intended, on Ko, and I don't even remember dude's name. I think Ko is like right around here. I liked him. Old lady, did not interact with her. The fox. The fox kind of acts like your quest system for the game, but it also heals you in the TV world. There's some weird, like, quasi utility that the fox has going for it. I feel like the problem is that the fox feels necessary if you're going to do any kind of deep dives into the TV world. But if you don't do any of the fox, you kind of have to do the TV world in chunks, which I prefer. I like, if you haven't noticed from my Persona 3 Everyday series, which there should be there's going to be a card to it or whatever, the playlist. I do like breaking up the dungeon exploration into across multiple days. I don't like doing it in one full swoop. P5, I did that for the playthrough, for my first original playthrough and for subsequent playthroughs, just because it's more efficient in terms of like how I want to handle my time. But for the structure of the series, I think it's really, really good to not dump 6 hours of gameplay into one episode that I then have to edit into a minute. That's the reason I don't clear all of Tartarus in one day. I could, but I don't. Cat's out of the bag. Well, Fox is out of the bag. Fox, I think, belongs right there. I don't remember it having much of a personality. The sexy nurse, Sadako, I think her name is Sayako. Sexy nurse lady. One of the rare elderly person having a crush on you W's, actually. I think it worked out for her character. I think she's definitely better than Maya, but not better than Yukari. I think that's all I remember of this character. Remember, I played P4G 2 years ago, I want to say. And that's all I remember, is that she was sexy, haha, fucked me after work in the dark. And then there was like jump scares. Like, that's all I remember from this character. I did not interact with, I want to call her Ayumi Tachibana, but that's the wrong name. This is the music chick, and then this is the drama chick, who I did pick. And I'm going to be honest, I really liked her character arc. She's, from what I remember, her dad was dying, and her dad abandoned her and her family. And then because her dad was dying, she wanted, like, her dad wanted to see her again. And she was struggling with that. And I really, really liked how well this was written. I think her character arc of having to deal with her father and like the emotion behind like her father's infidelity comboed with the idea of like that's still family. I really like that. That's very compelling to me. Ebihara. Okay. So I think this might be a hot take. I haven't been really around in the P4 discourse because I joined the game late. Ebihara might be my favorite social link from Persona 4. For one simple reason. I fucked it up. The issue I had was I went along with her, and then she dumps you over the course of it if you start dating her early. And then I genuinely developed like an emotional attachment. I was like, damn, I should be there for her. But she won't take you back after she dumps you. So there's this whole like, I need to be loved kind of personality going on here. But then there's this whole like, I'm making decisions for myself. I'm my own woman. And it really, really hit me when I realized like, oh fuck, I actually genuinely want to date her now in game. It was like really striking that the way that her shit is written. Like, she threatens suicide, right? Like, she needs someone there to be emotionally available for her. And she outright denies you because of your prior decisions. I thought that was awesome, and I need more Persona stories like that. I think this is like perfect for her. Like, we're right at the bottom of S tier. I'm not very big on P4 discourse, but from what I have seen, people don't like her snooty attitude and stuff like that. And that's kind of the point, right? Is that she's stuck up and bitchy. And I really, really liked her story. This is the tutor kid. I did not tutor the kid. This character, I think it's his mom. Here we go, guys. There's been tons of hot takes up to now. Up to now. That's my honest opinion. A lot of people don't like Marie. I don't understand why these people. I can get it. They pushed her way too hard, right? Like they inject her into scenes that don't matter, right? But it's all made up for with that scene in the epilogue. That scene where she's on TV and she confesses her love to you on TV. That is the most adorable thing that's happened in any of these games. The poems, I love Marie. I think Marie is a really, really fun character. I think if you hurt Marie, I will be mad. Just like if you hurt Nanako or if you hurt Koro-chan. I like Marie. I might be one of the very few that do. Kobo? Kobo or something? I remember it was the game kid. He's the fake killer. He like tries to date Yukiko. I don't remember much about his character. He's kind of he's definitely worse than Mr. Sidekick, who at least is like, stop, Takaya, we have a mission to complete. This character's like, oh yeah, my dungeon's a video game. That's about, that's literally it. Namatame. I actually remember his name. Poor Namatame. Fun fact, I did not push him into the TV. I genuinely was like, wait, Yosuke, don't do this. This is a bad idea. Let the authorities deal with him. Namatame and Ikutsuki are kind of the same in a lot of regards. They're like a psych out. I think putting him next to Ikutsuki's fair. I definitely like Yosuke more. Oh, here's the Jonkler. Is he stupid? Again, I still like Takaya a little bit more, but Adachi, I did 2 ranks of his social link, and then, I'm gonna be honest, I couldn't be, if I went to Junes, I was going into the TV world. I was not going there to talk to the cabbage lady, or to Adachi, or whatever the fuck. If I went to Junes, I was going to the TV to go fight people, right? Like, that's what I was doing. I think, from what I've got from Adachi, I can kind of pinpoint his personality here. Ready? Here you go. I can't have sex. I hate women. That's it. That's Adachi's personality. This is your hero, Reddit? This is your hero, okay buddy persona? Good job. I will say though, I think Adachi's fun with the memes. I think the memes are funny. I don't think Adachi is funny. Right? Like, it's very cool that he's the guy in P4, but like, there isn't a lot of signs pointing to him. So when you do the whole let's figure out who the killer is thing, where you're sitting in the beef bowl shop and they give you like 3 chances to guess the right killer, there's not a lot of things pointing to him. You kind of have to be super attentive over the course of 60 hours. It's like if in P5 they asked you to remember the pancake scene. Like, that's what it feels like debating on if Adachi's the killer. Like, if you didn't like playing through P5, when that pancake scene hit, it's like, oh my god, they dropped it so early. Playing through P4, it's like, what could he have possibly done? Yeah, he's there every time, but like the memes, good. The character, I think top of B tier. See, me debating it right there dropped him a point. Like, because his character's just kind of there. Next up, is this Izanagi no, it's Izanami. Izanami no Okami. This is kind of like a Kaguya situation in Naruto. Cause like, everything felt done, and then you're like, oh, it's the last day. Guess what? We're fighting bigger god. I feel like this could have been, it is cool that it's the first person you meet, but I feel like it could have been done better. I think like right here is perfect. Labris, I'm going based purely off of her gameplay. Bro, Asteria's rips. I think Labris is a cool design. I don't like the fucking weird accent they gave, like Brooklyn, New York accent they gave her. So I think right here is perfect for Labris. I like Labris, don't like her voice. This character is probably from the story for P4. This character is from Dancing, I think. No, he's from Arena. This is just Labris again. Sho Minazuki. So, again, I haven't played the story of P4 Arena. I might after I play P4. Look forward to that. Sho Minazuki, I don't really like the way he plays, but I like Tsukiyomi. I like Tsukiyomi. So I think he goes right here above Kazushi. And then this is Kanami Mashita. Kind of mid. And then I don't even remember half of these characters. Persona 5! Here we go! Alrighty, we're on to P5 now. Here's the actual Jonkler. I think he goes right between. It's like... I have no interaction with Katone, so I'll put him right here. I like Joker. He's flashy. He's cool. He's in Smash Bros. Like, he's Joker Persona 5. Like, how do you get better than that? I'll tell you how you don't get better than Joker Persona 5. Morgana. Mr. Go to Sleep himself. I think Morgana, I kind of dig his character arc. Being created by the Velvet Room is kind of, I don't like the whole, what am I he goes through. In Royal, though, when he becomes a man, if this was man Morgana, he's like up here. Because like, I'd let him sleep in my bed on top of on my chest. But this is regular Morgana. So I think I'm going to throw regular Morgana just above Yukari. I think that's a perfect spot for Morgana. Ryuji. First playthrough, I didn't really like Ryuji. Second playthrough, I didn't really like Ryuji. Striker's playthrough, when he says that F word, oh my god, bro, he's a fucking god tier character. Do not hurt these babies. In all seriousness, I like Max Middleman. He delivers really good voice work here. But Ryuji's personality just kind of doesn't really mesh with me. I can understand, I respect what he is. I think he goes right here. I think, in terms of a party member, God Hand Power Charge is like, it's good. Physical moves in P5 are pretty busted across the board. I had Ryuji on my party in my final playthrough for Royal. Royal takes Ryuji and puts him from here all the way over here. So you know what? I will put Ryuji here. Just because of like instant kill being fixed to actually work and be good. And him getting that final evolution of his persona, really cool. I like Ryuji. I don't think he's my favorite P5 character, but he's good. On Miss Takamaki. So when I was talking about Yukari coming off as like a popular girl, An comes off as a popular girl, right? Like she gets the, like when in her social link, she's got that model chick that bullies her, and she, like, when you first see her, she gets that, like, love shot where she pulls the hood off and it's raining and you hear the romance music. I think it's literally called romance. In terms of character, she's kind of just, like, a regular chick. Like, I like sweets. Like, Chie likes meat. So, like, what makes you special, bitch? In terms of, like, gameplay and combat and party-wise, she's better than Morgana. Well, a lot of these games, I get a set party towards the end. Like, in P5 base, I had Makoto, Morgana, Yusuke, me. And then P5 Royal, it was Makoto, me, Ryuji, and Haru. In like Strikers, it was me, Makoto, and then like Morgana, and that was in like the fourth party member was Sophie, always like 24/7, right? And then you get Zenkichi, but like that's neither here nor there. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about An. I like An. I don't like the pure sex appeal kind of characters. They're not like Mitsuru and An are kind of like in the same tier for me. Like everyone says Mitsuru is beautiful. Okay, where's the personality? Same thing with An. Like, she likes sweets. Okay. Yusuke, is he gay or European? That is the question. Pre-lobster scene, he's like here. Post-lobster scene, he's like here. And then posing like Jesus Christ, I think I think he's smack dab. I think he's right above Fuker. Like, Yusuke, time and time again, hits me right in the fucking gut with the hilarity. I think part of it has to do with Matt Mercer's portrayal. I'm not sure. Gameplay wise, Yusuke, like I said, I used him in my base playthrough because that was before Baton Pass got buffed. So like he was the best thing for a Baton Pass to go into. I like Yusuke. His confidant skill, kind of mad. Like kind of like I didn't use it much. His mementos request at the beginning though, now that's sick. I like anything that like ties into the lore of the world that is also like a social link thing. Makoto, I've already stated, I think Makoto is one of my favorite Persona characters. I think her and Akihiko are kind of like neck and neck for that. I like Makoto's personality a lot. She's this like really demure, kind of quiet girl with this like really like outbursty kind of nature. I really like that. Jeremy Lay, excellent voice actress. Makoto, gameplay-wise, also pretty freaking good. Like, getting heal skills and buff skills, and you get nuke, like, right around the time that Joker would be getting nuke anyway. Like, Joker doesn't need to have nuke for all of her palace, because you can just keep her palace, Kanashiro's palace, because you just keep her in the party the entire time. Same thing in Strikers with nuke and like hitting confusion, stuff like that. Like Makoto all around is a really good party member. And I know a lot of people call her mid-Koto and useless and stuff like that. I don't know. The only bad part about Makoto is her social link. And even then, that's where the mid-Koto accusations kind of hit. Oh, you're pretending to be her boyfriend. What a stereotypical anime trope, right? If you haven't noticed by now, I don't like stereotypical anime tropes. Mostly because I've seen a lot of anime. I think Makoto, definitely one of my favorite Persona characters. Futaba, younger sister. I think her and Ken. I think in terms of Navigator, though, I think she's the best. I like Necronomicon's design a lot. Her abilities are better than Risei's and Fuka's combined, just by nature of P5 having a more balanced, polished gameplay system. But yeah, I think Futaba kind of goes hard. Plus with the fact that she's Sojiro's adopted daughter, like, it ties in so well. Like, her character ties in so well into the rest of the game. Like, it's like that kind of like bow that wraps that whole present together. Haru, Miss Forehead, Miss I get no screen time. I think right here, honestly. Like, I like Haru's personality, but it's like, I'm a cute girl, but I like to kill things. Like, again, anime tropes, right? It's like, I don't like Ryoji and Yosuke because of their anime tropes, right? Like, they're flat and like flat characters in terms of writing. Like, Haru gets so little screen time, and then in Strikers, they just kind of Flanderize her a bit, make her all about the killing and none of the soft. Like, and it kind of bugs me a little how little screen time she gets. I think she's a very cute character. I will say that. I think she's the only character that cries when you reject her. Like, okay, that's cool, but like, why are you rejecting a character at that point? You get the rewards for the next playthrough. Oh boy, here comes the big one. This is Akechi. So my issue with Akechi, base P5 doesn't give him enough of a character to matter. Like, you get him for 1 month, kind of like Shinjiro, except Shinjiro, you get these little moments outside of like main story that actually gives him like fleshes him out. Akechi gets none of that in base P5. In Royal, they tried really, really hard to make you like him. Like, Black Mask Akechi, he might be some of the most funny parts of the final semester, but it's super forced sometimes. Like, his social link is kind of like okay. I think him introducing you to the jazz club, best thing he does. Mostly because I think the Jazz Club is my favorite part of Persona 5 Royal. I think in terms of character writing, I think he belongs right around here. Yeah, right here. I think Akechi, there's a lot more they could do with him. Like, he's not in Strikers for obvious reasons. And I haven't finished Tactica yet, but I do know that he's in the DLC for Tactica. Akechi shines at his best in Royal, and that's a problem, right? Because my first interactions with him are haha pancakes, right? Like, that's about it. If they were to do another P5 game, which I hope they don't, I hope they just go straight to P6, I think Akechi needs some time in the limelight. Sumi. Remember how I said I liked Marie even though they pushed her a lot? Yeah, this is the opposite end of that. I did not like Sumi a lot. I feel like a lot of the interactions with Sumi and Joker are forced, mostly because they kind of have to jam it in there in such a tight schedule. Like, there's a lot of, like, the whole adding Maruki's Palace into the main game could have gone so much cooler if they had let you use Sumi before the third semester, but a lot of it is like they jam her into the intro. Like, why? There's no reason for that. And then she doesn't even join you after that. She joins you like 2 months later. If they could have used her so much more better too, because like her and Akechi kind of have the same skill set, except Akechi's more physical and almighty based, and she's more light and darkness based. Well, darkness after the fact. There's so much you could have done here, right? But they had to tie it into the third semester because they had already written themselves into a corner, because in the whole base P5, you go to jail at the end of December. I feel like the love that this character gets is a little undeserved. Just by simple fact of, like, she doesn't do anything for most of the game, right? Like, oh, her phone's broken, that's quirky. Or, oh, she likes to eat a lot. And, oh, she scares you in Hawaii. But that's about it. It's little blips of, like, character moments. And then it's just back to, it's like this is the heart rate of Sumi's character moments, and then there's the scare in Hawaii, and then it's back to nothing for a month, and then we're getting glasses. All right, it's like there's so much more they could have done with her. Like with Marie, at least it's it's player decision to hang out with Marie. With Sumi, it's really forced, and I don't like that. I think if I was gonna rank Sumi, I think I like her just a tad bit better than Yosuke. In terms of, like, because in gameplay she's cool, like her showtime is sick, right? Like, but other than that, there's not much there for her. Boss Sojiro, best girl by far. I think Sojiro is the coolest of the dad type characters, just by nature of, like, Futaba being part of your crew. The let me explain is, like, super ingrained into my brain. Just the idea that, like, he sees you as a son. Yeah, like, Mutatsu-san does that, and Dojima does to a degree, but, like, Sojiro's the only one that actually feels like, because, like, you let him in on the secret, right? Like, he's the only one that feels like he could be your father. Chihaya. Only useful for, like, two things. It seems to be the issue with a lot of the P5 confidants is that their confidant skills are only useful for very specific purposes, which I guess that's for balancing, but at the end of the day, like, why can't I go to Chihaya? She's so out of the way. Like, I think you have to pay money to go to Shinjuku, right? So, like, she's out of the way. She's only there certain times, right? So, like, why would you ever go to her, get a fortune, and then be like, oh yeah, now we're going into mementos? Like, she's kind of, like, self-defeating in a way. Like, the only thing she's good for is, like, revealing proper answers, but I could literally pull it up on my computer and look at it on the screen and save the money and the time and the effort. EY. Wow. Talk about a character. I think EY goes right here. I think his interactions with, I think it's his son. I don't remember. I haven't done EY since Royal came out, which was, what, 2 years ago. I think EY and his interactions is really cool. I like the idea of this, like, made man trying to make himself a better life. I think that's a really cool story you can tell. I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit by not making it about that and more about, like, indoctrinating you into the family, but that's neither here nor there. Goth Mommy. Takemi, another adult that likes to fuck kids. What do I say here? Like it's not okay just because she's a woman, right? Like, I think her and Miss Toriyumi would get along. I like the story she has with the kid with the rare disease, but I don't think that redeems her. I think that's a good spot for her. Another adult that likes to fuck kids, Miss Kawamami. I mean, for gameplay purposes, she's an S tier character because she gives you an extra time slot to do shit. But for like character writing purposes, like the fact that like she's time gated too, like I didn't complete her in base P5 because like if you don't finish by October something, like you can't get her to rank 10 because you get pulled out of school. It's really, really hard to rank her, right? It's because like the massage is just so good, but like everything else is so mid. The character design's okay. The yellow sweater's hot. But like other than that, like I think all the girls that fuck kids are gonna be surrounding Akechi, so I hope he's okay there. Next up, Oya. Next up, Shinya. I don't like the fact that every time I play this, I interact with this child, I hear Naoto from Fooly Cooly. That fucked with my head a little too much. When it comes to Shinya's character, it's like a better version of Maiko in terms of like how he interacts with his parents and stuff like that. The gameplay implications, sick. The being able to down anything anytime, once per infiltration, absolutely perfect. I think that right there in and of itself puts him in C tier, right? But it's like the character interactions that are the problem. They're not memorable, right? There's nothing memorable about Shinya's confidant. Hifumi, what could have been. She is the character on my first playthrough that I hung out with on the Hawaii trip. I think Hifumi, really cool. I love me an autistic bitch. What do I say? I love me an autistic bitch. Mishimi. So, when I first played through P5, I did not like Mishima because he was trying to get after the fame. Like he was so drawn to the fame that he just kind of threw everything to the wayside. He's meeting up with chicks saying he's a phantom thief. Like he's getting stood up because he's giving chicks money. Like this guy is the ultimate simp, right? And for that, I think he deserves a place in the F tier. I think he's better than Tanaka just for gameplay mechanics wise. Yeah, Mishima kind of bad. Like the only good thing about him is experience, right? Yoshida. Here it is, guys. This might be recency bias. Even though I'm playing P3 like as new. Like the newest game I'm playing is P3. I think Yoshida is my favorite S-Link in the game. I think Yoshida is my favorite S-Link in the series. I think because like just like Akinari ties into the themes of P3, I think Yoshida ties super well into the themes of P5. The themes of P5 being, everyone likes to say rebellion, but it's trying to fix a broken system, right? The whole plot of P5 revolves around the fact that Joker got involved in a system that is corrupt. And Yoshida is part of that corruption, but he has realized that he's part of that corruption, and he's actively trying to redeem himself in spite of the fact that his name has been sullied by his own actions. And I think that right there is like the essence of what P5 is going for in terms of its storytelling, right? It's telling you, hey, take your actions, take your responsibility for your actions. Don't let anyone else cover you. You are responsible for yourself, and you need to actively better yourself. And I think that's really, really strong, and it's really well told through Yoshida. Just on top of that, his gameplay implications are okay. Like his gameplay implications are mid, but his character writing and his themes are so well written for what they are. My buddy me and him were playing P5 literally at the same time, right after Joker got announced for Smash. We were like, okay, fuck it, we'll pick it up. We're playing it. He says this character's story made him cry because of how well written it was. And I think if I had been in a more emotionally unstable state, that probably would have happened to me too, because I think Yoshida is the most well-written character in the series. Sai Nijima. Thank God they don't let you romance her, because that would be another girl that likes to fuck children. I like the bit of her cutting in every time you make a new confidant, but it get old around the time, like around October is when it gets old. So like that's neither here nor there. I like the fact that she's Makoto's sister, and there's that whole like stealth mission where you have to steal shit off her laptop. That's really cool. But that's less of a Saya moment, more of a Makoto and Futaba moment. In terms of character, realizing that she's fucked up and trying to actively make amends, again, a theme in Persona 5. I think that puts her right below Mitsuru. I think the only thing holding her back is probably the fact that she's this cold, standoffish character for 80% of the game, and then she's all of a sudden just like a warm embrace, if that makes sense. SIU director? I mean, he dies. It was funny. He's kind of there, right? Like, he's antagonistic to Sae. He's not antagonistic to the Phantom Thieves. He's not antagonistic directly. He's not antagonistic in the sense that, like, his actions are definitely antagonistic to the Phantom Thieves, but his direct antagonism is to Sae Niijima. There's not much there with him. And on top of that, the only antagonism that fucking Mr. Potato Head over here is doing is to Makoto. Like, do the thing, Makoto. I'm gonna walk out in front of a bus and get hit. Kamoshida, Yandere dev. I think that's perfect for him. He literally rapes students. I think he has to go in literal dog shit. I think he might be the most evil character on a personal level, right? His actions aren't globally like horrifying. Once you remove someone from the personal interaction one-to-one, their actions are less reprehensible somehow, because like it's like going up in a helicopter and dropping a rock. That action is now like removed in the sense that like still your fault that rock was dropped, but at some point, when does it become like, well, what can we do about it? With Kamoshida, everything is on this personal, intimate level, and I think that's what makes him more reprehensible than someone like Shido or Kaneshiro. Right? Well, Kaneshiro is still pretty reprehensible, but like I think his actions and Shido's actions, they kind of are on two different planes. Like, Shido is nationally a menace, but Kamoshida is the menace that you could interact with in real life type shit, right? And you would never know. Madarame. It's funny knowing about the art world that shit that Madarame does is realistic. In terms of boss fights, Kamoshida's a tutorial, so he stays in literal dog shit. Madarame's in base P5, they're not memorable. In Royal, with the extra turn where you have to kill everything in one hit, or like you have to chain it together, sick. Madarame might go right there. Kaneshiro, I like him because tiny face. I don't like him because, for the same reasons I don't like Kamoshida. He's a fly and he raps. I guess that pumps him up to here. And then he runs out of money and gets to a giant piggy bank. Like, it's absurdity to the most absurd tier. I like Kaneshiro a little. Mr. Okumura. Just for the boss fight alone. A lot of people complain that this shit is, like, mad difficult. If you've ever played an SMT game, like I have, it was the closest you're gonna get to an SMT game in Persona 5. He dies while we're at Disneyland, which is funny. But I think that's like the perfect spot for him. Shido, you brat, I'll sue. And then he turns you into rats. Get it? Fake Igor. Yaldi. I guess this is Yaldabaoth, right? This is Yaldabaoth. The fake out, I did not see coming, because prior to playing Persona 5, I had never played a Persona game. So the fact that Igor's voice was different wasn't different to me. That was Igor's voice, right? I think the fake out was cool. I think the idea that the guy that's been helping you the entire time is the bad guy is sick. And they did it with Ikutsuki fucking 10 years prior. Where's Ikutsuki? I think Yaldi goes right next to Ikutsuki. Yeah. They did it with Igor 10 years after they had already done it with Ikutsuki. So it kind of felt, this is now starting to feel formulaic, and that's a problem. Maruki might be just under Takaya. I think Maruki's the only villain. No, he's better than Takaya. I think Maruki is better than Takaya, but I don't consider Maruki a villain, if that makes sense. Like, his motives, I think he's better than Futaba as well. His motives are just, everyone wants to stop struggling. Everyone wants life to be easy, because, like, if life is easy, then you don't have to worry about it, and then it's less stress, and then you can do the things you love. Maruki went about it wrong way. And there's tons of other people that have done video essays and shit like that on the character of Maruki and how character writing and, like, motivations and stuff like that. I think Maruki is a great character. I think his boss fight is awesome. I love the Metal Gear Solid reference. You literally box each other on top of, like, a skyway and shit. And then to top it off, he's the cab driver at the end. And his intentions were good, but the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And I think that's the kind of thing that, like, he goes against the themes so well of P5. The themes of you have to take responsibility for yourself. You have to actively try to be better. And Maruki literally says, you don't have to take responsibility for yourself, and I will actively make you better. You do not have to try. Sophie! Okay, Sophie. I don't like the fact that she's an AI. I don't like the fact that she's in my phone, because there's things in my phone that a 4-year-old should not see. Because that's essentially what Sophie is. She's like a 4-year-old that is using a yo-yo to beat the shit out of things. I like Sophie a lot. I don't think she has a personality. But her gameplay, sick. I like her persona. I like her design. It's just a tad bit. Her song is the best part. Sophia's Shop is probably the best song in Strikers. Like, Daredevil's like very close number 2, and then Counter-Strike is like a very close number 3. But, like, I think Sophia's Shop is my favorite song in Strikers. I think Sophia is just a tad bit better than Morgana. Zenkichi is the best character introduced in Strikers by far. I think Zenkichi isn't better than Sojiro, but he's on the same tier as Sojiro. Like, Zenkichi is... It's a Les Mis reference. Come on. Like, you can't not... Like, Wolf is sick. He's cool. He's got 2 guns, and he fucking... Like, Zenkichi kicks ass. Zenkichi rules. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about him. This is the first boss this is the Shibuya jail. All I remember her for is being a furry. I don't really like her design. This is the second boss. This is the one with, like, the swords, and he was like the author. I haven't played Strikers in like a year. He's like an author, and he had like the swords and shit. His jail was cool, but I think it might be better than the Shibuya jail, because the Shibuya jail is just Shibuya, but with, like, carnival themes and shit like that. This lady alone, this lady gets C tier just because of the Hee-Ho scene.
Hee-Ho! Hee-Ho? Hee-Ho!
Hee-Ho!
They're infected!
This is Zenkichi's kid. She's a Phantom Thief fan. I like her more than Sumi, just because of how enamored she is. The only issue with her is most of the time spent with her is surrounded by the hot springs, and the hot springs suck. So I think that's what's clouding my judgment on her. Tony Stark Iron... Oh, where'd he go? Tony Stark Iron Man. I like Tony Stark Iron Man. I think he's better than Jin. I think he's better than Hidetoshi as well. I love that he's one of the only characters you fight mano a mano in Strikers as well, because he comes out of... He has the cape, he's in the Super Sentai outfit, and you hear do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do, and that shit got my blood pumping when I played the game. You know what? Definitely better. Yeah, I think he goes right there. I think he's what you want out of a secondary antagonist and a boss. Like, he's like the perfect... Like, his jail was cool. It had cool puzzles, cool design, and then you get to fight a fucking Power Ranger, like, with a sword. Like, it's sick. And then finally, the chick, the actual big bad psych out lady, I can't remember her name. She, like, redeems herself at the end, I guess. I don't know. I was more interested in Tony Stark Iron Man than I was in chick that created Siri. Now we're on to Q1. I have not played. Q2 I have not played, but I love this character's design. All right, Philemon. I have interacted with Philemon. I think Philemon, we're going to end it with just... I think this is all Velvet Room intent. Yep, it's all Velvet Room characters. I think Philemon, if they brought him back, would be really cool. I don't know why he's not here. So, well, his butterfly's here. I think Philemon, in terms of design and the way he interacts with your characters, I think he's a C tier character. I think he's definitely like mid. Igor, welcome to the Velvet Room. Just that nose alone, man. Just that nose alone puts him in B tier. I think Igor, big nose man. You know what they say about a big nose? Is this Devil Painter? I think his name is Demon Painter. Demon Painter. So this is Demon Painter. I like the idea. I prefer what Hashino did with 3, 4, and 5, where it's like, I especially prefer 5. I like the Kamui a lot. I definitely prefer 5 in terms of like, it's easy for memorability because, you know, fighting Pixie. What is Pixie weak to? That's right. What type of magic is Pixie going to use? That's right. So, what is Angry Maya weak to? Wrong, it's not fire. It's fucking ice or whatever. Like, that shit bugs me because it's hard to remember what fucking Maya is weak to what. Whatever. It's nice to remember that, like, Jack Frost is weak to fire, Pyro Jack's weak to ice. Like, it's really simple stuff like that. It's like Pokemon, right? Like, Pokemon nailed it. Oh, Pikachu's weak to ground attacks because he's yellow, he's electric. That's the same thing Persona should be going for, and that's what SMT did. The issue with SMT is they'd introduce you to new demons a shit ton across the game. P5 kind of does that towards the end. Like, all of Maruki's dungeon is shit you've never seen before. But I think Demon Painter, I think what they were going for here was cool. Belladonna, she sings the song. Get it? Haha. I think right here is good. And then Nameless. I don't even remember what he does. It's been so long since I played these games. I'm going to put him right here because I think his design is cool. He looks like Zorro. Oh boy, here we go. Now we're on to the meat and potatoes of the Velvet stuff. Here is Elizabeth. I like Liz. I like Liz a lot. You guys will find out why I like Liz a lot soon. I think in terms of everyone, I like Liz. I feel like Liz is that comedy aspect to it. So like Yusuke, but I feel like Liz is still, I think Liz is just like right there. I think that's a perfect place for Elizabeth. Teddy, or Theodore, I guess his name is, have zero interaction with him. Margie, does she kiss you at the end? You may never know. I think she slots right in there. Perfect. I think my issue with Margaret is you have Marie as well in P4G. You're going to obviously spend more time with Marie than Margaret just by nature of how the game is. By the way, I love Margaret and Elizabeth in P4A. Elizabeth, fun. Margaret, top tier fun to play character. The persona shifting and all that shit, so cool with Margaret. But like, it's so hard to fucking do. Caroline and Justine, I'm going to rank as a duo. They're the same character, essentially. Well, Caroline's the tsundere, and I think Justine is the kudere, I think is what they call it. Caroline, I think right here, for both of them, actually. Just above Chidori, but below Haru. I think that's perfect. Because you get, like, all that interaction in Royal. You get, like, the cutesy, like, oh, we're eating the Big Bang Burger and stuff like that. I like that a lot. Their social link is kind of meh. Like, oh, it's just the same thing as Margaret's and the same thing as Elizabeth's stuff. It's like, I don't really fuck with it. Lavenza, though, from what I've seen in Tactica, they really did her character well. She's like a funny she's like a younger version of Liz almost in her interactions in Tactica, which feels weird. But in like Royal, I think Lavenza's right there. I think the idea of Lavenza is cool, but it needs to be executed better, if that makes sense. Wow, we've been going for an hour and a half, and I have one character left. Oh, here he is. Mr. Jose. Motherfucking Starboy. I think if I was going to rank Jose, it's purely on the boss fight. And I think that boss fight is fun, but I don't think it's better than, say... I think right here is good for him. And then here's all the P1 characters, and here's all the P2 characters. I need more time with these characters. Mostly because I don't remember half of this shit. There's the full image. So yeah, that was fun. That's an hour and a half. I'm definitely going to upload this slightly edited so I can cut it down to closer to an hour. I love seeing you guys in the comments every day. My throat is kind of going right now. I haven't had anything to drink in like an hour and a half. An hour and 33 minutes and 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. See, an hour and 34 minutes. That is my Persona 3, 4, 5 tier list. Again, there are characters I haven't interacted with, namely like the old couple, Bebe, Mamoru, Metis. So there are tons of characters I haven't interacted with yet, and I hope I get to interact with them with you guys. I hope you guys keep watching because I really love putting out content, and it's really fun, and it's really rewarding. I will say that. Thank you guys so much for 1,000 subscribers, and let's hope we hit 5,000 sooner rather than later, because I'd love to do another one of these. Maybe even get some of my friends involved that have played Persona. Maybe show these characters to people that have never played Persona and only know it tangentially through me talking about it 24/7, and see what they think of these characters based on just their portraits, stuff like that. Tons of content ideas, right? I'm content brained, right? But yeah, thank you guys a lot. It means a lot. It really does.